Everybody. I am super, super excited to be here coming to you from um, first live doing this. Let me just go ahead and mute myself on this side so I can see you in the chat here. I can see there's someone from Portland, Oregon. Yeah, we're going to jump in today. We're going to be talking about how do you set your sail and how do you really focus in and actually set some goals that you want to achieve. So, we're going to be doing this live. I'm going to help you. This is a super practical strategy session. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Skye. I run a large multi six-figure business helping entrepreneurs. I'm an implementation strategist for those of you who struggle with ADHD strategies, former academic, and now this is what I do. So I use research to help you guys with practical strategies. This week, I'm going live every day. We are going to be going through a whole bunch of really awesome systems to help you get focused and get locked in to grow. So, I can see here we've got some people in the chat. Please go ahead and share. Where are you from? Wonderful to have you here. And also, I want to know from you. Give me how motivated are you feeling out of 10? This is what we do in our program all the time. How motivated are you feeling out of 10? It can't be a 7. And hopefully, by the time we finish this conversation, you will be more motivated than you were before and you will have practical strategies to help with that motivation. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. I'm going to go ahead and, talk to you guys about how to set systems and set goals in place that you can actually go ahead and listen to. Can I confirm, by the way, that you guys can all hear me? Can you just say here, or I can hear you, or whatever it is, because I can see you here and I just want to make sure that you guys can all hear me. So please go ahead and make sure that that is the case. And then I'm going to show you how to set sail for the program. I've got someone from Queenstown, New Zealand. Wonderful to have you here, fellow New Zealander. 9 out of 10 motivated. From Wellington, 5 out of 5. People saying they can hear me. That is amazing. Okay, let's jump into it right now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're gonna get started. And by the way, if you are on Instagram and you're like, I can't see her screen, that's because you need to find me on YouTube at Unconventional Organization. I'm going live on there, and that is where you're going to be able to see my screen. And we're going to talk about how to set sail to actually reach your goals. So, what we've got here. Oh, I love this. So many people messaging 10, emotionally 5. Oh, wonderful. Great to have you guys here. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to be talking a little bit about how to set sail. So by the time this session has finished, I want you to know where you're going. I want you to know how you're going to get there. And I want you to know what the first leg of the journey is going to look like for you. So we're going to jump in here. The first thing I want you to do is when we think about your life, you are essentially on a journey. I want you to imagine you've got a ship, and maybe this ship is a business, maybe this ship is, family, whatever it is for you, and you are going to be going in a direction. So I want you to think 15 years into the future from now. Where are you? What are you doing? How much money have you made? Are you traveling? What does your life look like? Go ahead and write some of that into the chat as well. Let's share with each other. Where are you going? What is your 15-year future goal? Go ahead and type that into the chat for me a little bit as we go, because we want to get a sense of this overall direction. And for a lot of you guys, this is going to be something where you're thinking, that's cool. I don't fully know where this is going, but I have a sense of it, in the same way as if you were on a ship in general, you might have, had somebody come back and say, hey, I live this amazing life. I have a big business. I feel really happy about that. I travel. I see family whenever I want to. And from there, that is the goals that they're going towards. You might have heard of it. It might not be so much of a reality for you right now, and that is totally okay. So just give me a yes when you have your 15-year future goal. And like I said before, if you want to see me doing this live, jump on to my YouTube, which is where you can see it if you are on Instagram. Okay, just give me some yeses in the chats or some emojis. Are you guys got your 15-year future goal? You thinking about it? It's a tough one. A lot of us are thinking 15 years in the future, but the reason we're doing this is we're going past the day-to-day struggles. We're going past those things that, are a little bit, difficult for us to really get a grasp on because we're like, but I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do that. So we want to go ahead and think, what is your 15 years in the future? Somebody said, I want to be a homeowner, a dog owner, a full-time artist. Love that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful goals for your future. Have all my admin outsourced. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. That's exactly the kind of thing we want to do. Okay. So now that we have that long term vision, the direction that we're setting sail in, and we do need to have a direction because if you don't have a direction, what will happen is you'll end up like kind of starting. If you imagine this is where you're starting, this is your little ship here, you'll end up going, oh, yeah, I want to do this, and then actually, I want to do this, and I want to do this, and you can often end up just going around in circles. You have no real direction. You're just going around in circles. And this is exactly what I actually did myself. Before I found out that I had ADHD symptoms, before I started learning how to do them, I was pretty embarrassed to tell people what I was doing. They'd say, oh, what are you up to? And I'd be like, oh, I may or may not have completely changed everything that I was planning on doing with my life and gone in a totally different direction because I felt like I needed to have my passion locked in. That was the thing that was, if I could just figure out my passion, let me know if this is something that you've experienced. Oh, then I'll be focused, then I'll be motivated. And really, I needed to set my direction and then I needed to know how to get there with systems and strategies to support yourself. Okay, so we've got the 15-year future. Awesome. Perfect. I can see here. To have ignited a movement for rational behavior in the world. That's awesome. That's such a great goal. I love that. Okay, now we want to go, okay, that's the future. That's ultimately where we're trying to get to. I can see some financial freedom as well, which is awesome. Love that. That's what we go for as well. Now, what is the thing that represents that first step for you? If you think about a year from now, what is the first next step? Something that would constitute you making a significant step towards your journey. This is really the first leg of your journey. If you think about it in nautical terms, which we're going to do because I love a metaphor, it makes it so much easier to remember for our working memory brains. The first leg of your journey, what is that going to be? For some of you, it might be I want to quit my job. There was someone in the community who's just started and she's already quit her job. She's getting on the path. She's going to, actually make a go of running a business. For other people, it might be a financial thing. It might be that you have to build a system to actually, do it. I have another member of my program who is currently in the business of, finalizing and shipping the software that they're working on. So what is your next step? If we think about your overall, we've set sail, we know the ultimate course that we're going in, what is the first leg of your journey? Take a think about that. Take a couple of minutes, think about that. And then, if you want to type that into the chat, go ahead and pop that in the chat for you. Because today is the first of a whole week of working on these different pieces. And I really want you guys to set your direction so that then over the rest of this week, we can start thinking, okay, how am I actually going to do these things, set up the how to go with the what. So that is what we're going to be doing. And good to see you guys joining. As always, remember, I am on YouTube. So that is where you can see the pictures that I have drawn. Yes, I drew them. Probably you guys can tell. So what is the map for the first leg of the journey? Go ahead and type that into the chat. I want a couple of examples because it is really helpful to get a sense of what this first is. Are you talking about a financial goal? What are you doing here specifically? Because quit working as an employee, signed a lease in an art studio. Yep. Okay. So we've got a few particular goals. That's really, really awesome. Now, the next thing that you want to know is, okay, I know the ultimate course that I'm going towards, and I know the first leg of the journey. And sometimes all it is it's a little X marks the spot on your map, and you just know, okay, I have to get to this place next. That's it. You don't have all of the information, and that's what I want to really, drive home today. Growing something, and I've done this before. I've grown my business to multiple six figures. I've managed my ADHD doing it. I've been through all of this. It's not a ladder. You're not like just climbing up the ladder. That's what we talk about when people talk about workplaces. And really, these days, it's not really a ladder, even in workplaces, is it? It's more of a journey. There's going to be a lot of shifting and changing, but ultimately, we want to stay in that one direction for the next leg of the journey. So, the next thing that we're talking about is resources. What are the resources that you need? If you think, okay, I want to get to this 15-year future. I want to run $1 million business. I want to spend time with my family. I want to, have a house and no debt and all that kind of thing. This is my 15-year future, 25-year future, which is awesome. The first leg of my journey is I just need to get 10 clients. I need to get 10 clients. That'll be great. And then I can pay for the things that I need to do. And I can have a business and I can call myself a business owner, for example. That's the first leg of your journey. Now we need to know what are the resources that you need. Because once you've done that, you should be able to start thinking, okay, actually, I have a few, resources that I need around maybe who's going to help you. Do you even know how to run a business? This is something that often people find when they work with us is they say, oh, actually what I need is I need some help in terms of actually how to do this, right? And so, what are the resources that you need? Who's going to come on this journey with you? Do you need money? Do you need skills? What are the things that you're going to pack on this trip with you as you go and as you sail away to the next leg of the journey? This is really, really important. Now, key point here, we don't want to spend too much time stuck just building our ship and getting all the resources. You're not going to have 100% of everything that you need. If you think about a story about a person who, went on a journey and they started here and then they traveled across the world to get to another place. Those people didn't spend the first 60 pages of a 100-page book just hanging out on the shoreline. It's not a very good book. Okay, so eventually you're going to have to go ahead and actually stick with, okay, I've got 80% of what I need. That's pretty good. So let me go ahead and let me just start with that. And now at this point, you have the 15-year future, you have the map for the first leg of your journey, and you have the resources that you need. This is where you want to go ahead and start going in the direction. And this is where it gets interesting. And what I want to know from you guys is I want you to write in the chat, what are the things that you think could stop you from going in the direction of your goals? I'm going to draw you a little picture of what this journey can look like, and then I want to know from you, what are some of the things that you could struggle with in this space? Because I'm going to start dropping some playbooks and things that you guys might need to help you as you work as you go in this direction. And for those of you who are interested, if the thing that you are looking for is help with your businesses, I am launching my September focus session. You can see the link to the information in the chat here. I just dropped it in this doc. Feel free to check it out if it's something that you are interested in. You can also book a call with me as well, a call to just chat about if this is a good fit for you, if you're somebody who needs help with it. I'm going to be here focusing on this all week, so you can definitely check that out. And next week, tomorrow, not next week, we're going to be talking about emails as well. So help with emails and how to organize that, because it's one of the biggest things, 16 hours a day, if you can believe it, that people spend on emails. Okay. So this is you. You are this little boat over here. You're heading towards a destination. You have your journey. You have the ultimate destination, which is probably somewhere down here. It's actually quite far away. And your first leg of the journey might just be here. You're like, okay, I'm just trying to get here. This is me, $1 million business, done everything that I want to do. And then this is me just, maybe like my first 100K, for example. Gosh, I'm so much worse at, at writing on this. Okay. So this is, you've got all the provisions you need, you have the information, you know how to get where you're trying to go. But what you'll find is that, if you zoom out, you're like, oh, here to there, not too far. But if you zoom in, you'll actually see this is actually quite a long journey. This is going to take a minute. And so what you'll find is you want to go ahead and, you want to set sail, you want to start, but maybe you find, oh, over here, there's actually some really bad weather. And so what you're going to do is you might have to go around, for example. Or maybe you find that you get to this space, but you kind of crash at this space. You don't actually know where to go next. And so maybe you hang out at this next step for a little bit longer than you anticipated while you are figuring out where you need to go next. And once you're here, maybe the next step of like how to get to 1 million, how to get to, growing your team or whatever it is, maybe this becomes a little bit more available to you in information and you kind of go there and then maybe you miss that one and you say, oh, actually, now that I'm here, let me just jump onto this little atoll here and then ultimately go towards my goal, which is this last bit here. And so if you look at it, if you look at your journey from this perspective, there's a lot of jumping around, there's a lot of shifting. But if you look at it zoomed out, you're going in the right direction. And this is something that I want you guys to understand. Ultimately, your goal is to stay on course. You might have to shift, you might have to adjust a little bit. That's okay. Ultimately, we want you to stay on course, to know where you're going, to have the systems, the strategies, the resources, the support to do that. That is the goal for you when you're building out these businesses. And this is what I want for you. This is my personal vision for you. And so often we can really, really beat ourselves up. I mean, who started their journey, found themselves on a patch of rough water, gone around and been like, I can't believe it. I'm not going anywhere near my direction because you're over here. You're driving around the thing that was struggling, it was a struggle for you. I mean, we started our first business and then COVID hit. And we had to close it down. That was a whole 360. That was not in any way the direction that we needed to go in. But ultimately, when you zoomed out and you looked at it from a whole, we were still going in the same direction. We were still setting course and ultimately still reaching our goal. And we're still doing that today. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of encouragement around that. I think so often we can get really down on ourselves, especially if we struggle with ADHD symptoms. And so I wanted to talk about this today because this is something that can really help you to stay focused, stay engaged. And then what we're going to be talking about for the rest of this week is how do we actually, now that we've focused, we know where we're going, you guys all have a goal and a course and a direction. How do we then shift that over and go, okay, that's cool. How do I actually do the tasks? How do I figure out what the next island? So how do I figure out how to, focus and grow it? The questions that we'll be answering. How do I get my time back? A lot of people come to me and they say, "Hey, Skye, that's really cool. I don't have enough time." And that's something that we talk about all the time. Nobody that I work with comes to me because they have enough time and they're not overwhelmed. Everybody is overwhelmed. Nobody has enough time. And that's what we talk about as well. So, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Like I said, if you are interested in joining my program, I will be here at the same time for the rest of this week until till September 1st. That's when we're starting. You can see a document there with information about me. I'm going to jump in now. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions for you all. But yes, please, if you're interested, go ahead and check out the document, the information about my program. If you want to just schedule an appointment to chat with me to see if it's a fit as well, you can go ahead and do that at this link. I'll just pop it down below. But mostly, I'm just excited that you're here and we're working on these things together for the rest of this week. I so appreciate each and every one of you. Please go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Any questions you have about how to run a business, how to run a business with ADHD. I actually, by the way, you guys don't know this, but the last 2 sessions, I haven't decided what we're going to be talking about yet because I wanted to leave it up to you guys as you ask questions, anything that comes up that I really feel is going to be the most helpful for you. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to be sharing that and talking about that with you. So let's jump into it. I can see some different pieces that people are talking about. So please go ahead and type your questions in the chat and I will get started with the very first question that we have here, which is, let me stop my screen share, about spreading myself too thin, not getting enough help, not having the cash flow to continue, health problems, relationship problems, countless obstacles. 100%. Who here, give me some love in the emoji chat, who here feels that way? Who here feels like they have countless things that they're struggling with? They are basically, working on and they're really struggling. If you want any information about me, you can totally find it in the Google Doc, by the way, because I can see some people asking there. Who here is struggling with figuring out how to even find the time to do the thing that they need to do? Because I think this is a big question that a lot of people have. How do you figure out how to even get the time? So what I'll do, and this is why I said I always want to be giving you guys the value. So again, if you are on YouTube, YouTube, I'm going to drop the link now. If you're on Instagram, then I just suggest jumping over to YouTube. This is my focus formula. I'm going to talk you through it now, how to actually get focused and find the time to do the very first thing. But you can also find it here. I give it away for free whenever I can because nobody should feel overwhelmed. So, this is the question that we have. What do you do when everything is on fire and you don't have the time or energy to actually deal with everything? The first thing that we need to talk about here is, okay, you have a million things to do. I'm sure you all feel like you have a million things to do all the time. Unfortunately, that is true. But it's also not true because you have a lot of things to do, but they're also not all urgent. They're not all truly, truly urgent. And, for those of you who are wondering, why do I have a million things to do and other people don't? Congratulations. If you struggle with ADHD symptoms, you're probably a divergent thinker, which means that you can take a list and you can explode it into a million pieces. We're great at that. So, what we want to go ahead and actually do is that we want to go ahead and figure out what is truly urgent and then what is truly important. So, what is truly urgent? The first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to go ahead and I want you to write down on a piece of paper every single list that is in your head. Don't look at your emails, don't look at those lists that you've forgotten about, just what is in your head. Write everything down from there. And then what I want you to do at that point is I want you to go ahead, have a look at everything that you've written down on that piece of paper, on that document, and identify what truly needs to be done in the next 24 hours, or there will be a significant external negative consequence. It can't just be I'll feel bad. It can't just be I feel like I should do it. There has to be a significant external negative consequence. And at this point, people tend to say to me, but Skye, if I do that, then surely I'm going to end up in a position where somebody, I'm never going to get anything done. To that, I say, no, you won't. We're trying to create time so you can focus on your most important tasks. But first, we have to get rid of some of those less important tasks. And we're actually going to talk about this tomorrow. We're going to talk about email management because that's a huge, huge loss of time for so many people. When you go ahead and do that, what you want to do is you want to figure out, okay, if we're talking about this topic, then what is it that has to be done in the next 24 hours, or there'll be a significant external negative consequence. Or another way of thinking about this is if you were in a waiting room and you had, maybe your day went sideways, now you're in a waiting room for yourself or for somebody else. This is your day. This is what you're going to do. For those of you who are in the US, I've heard the DMV can be a very similar experience. And like, this is what I'm doing today. What are the things you would still try and do on your phone? Or you would at least message the person and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to come in tomorrow because, I'm actually not, I don't have what I need. And I know that this is important. So I'm going to have to cancel. That is urgent. That is what's truly urgent. Everything else is not truly, truly urgent. And this is what I want you guys to understand. What that allows you to do, and I've done this with hundreds of people at this point, nobody has ever gotten more than 5 things that are truly urgent. What this allows you to do is it allows you to then go, okay, now I have space in my calendar for today. This is the only truly urgent thing. Now, what is important? What is the thing now that I know my first leg of the journey, the goal that I want? What is the thing that if I focused on this thing, it would give me an 80% return. It would give me an outsized return. That's the thing that you want to do. For some of you, it's going to be outreach if you're running a business. For some of you, it's going to be hiring. For some of you, it's going to be getting your first clients. Whatever it is for you, that is the thing that you want to spend your time focusing on. So that's the beginning of the idea of your 80/20, how to focus. Like I said, I've got the link there where you can find it in the chat, where you can go through this in a little bit more detail. But yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. So I want to know from you, type into the chat, what have you taken away from today? What are you going to go do? And I'm going to see you tomorrow because we're going to be talking about the next thing that we can do, how to give your time back with emails. I'll be talking email strategies. I'll be talking through what I do, and we will go through that. And then from there, we're just going to keep going for the rest of this week to get you motivated, to get you focused, to manage your ADHD symptoms so that you can start September 1st going and growing and really optimizing your revenue, your security, your long term stability. That is what I want for you. Nobody has to do it alone, and you don't have to do it with those strategies that just never worked for you because there are strategies out there that fit your brain better. Like I said, my name is Skye, former ADHD academic. I've done a lot of research into how the brain works, and now I work with entrepreneurs to help them actually implement, to help you go from what do I do? How do I do it to actually getting it done? And that's what we're going to talk about. So, thank you so much to everybody for coming today. It's been really, really wonderful to have you here. If you are interested, I will see you tomorrow. And otherwise, it's just been wonderful to have you here. So, I'll see everybody later. Bye.